joke, isn't it?
So yeah.
It's a fucking joke, mate. Coming to work every day doing this.
So good.
Am I allowed to say that? Jamie Roberts, centre, have played for Cardiff Blues, Racing Metro, Harlequins and now Bath, Welsh International, British and Irish Lion. I've played at 2 World Cups in 2011 and 2015. So the World Cup for me is special, probably because it's the ultimate prize. Certainly from my experience, the hardest I've ever trained for anything in my life. Probably the most disappointed I've ever been in my rugby career when we've not quite made it in those tournaments, and just the occasion, the machine around the Rugby World Cup is so special. You come to appreciate it's the biggest tournament. It's the only time where the sport becomes truly global, once every 4 years. So my first cap for Wales came in 2008. It was an extremely tough time for Welsh rugby, and I guess on reflection now, looking back, Warren Gatland came in 2008. He won this Grand Slam in his first campaign in charge. But it was a special campaign for me personally. I won my first cap, and I guess that was the start of the cycle leading towards the 2011 Rugby World Cup. Probably some of the toughest training I've ever done in my life. The toughest preparation. That was brutal. Camps in Poland, 2 camps in Poland, in Spala and Gdansk, in very cold conditions. I'll never forget one of the first mornings. Weighing in about 5 minutes late at breakfast and going out onto the pitch, and the fitness coach reading, right lads, everyone make your way to the try line, we're about to begin a pretty brutal fitness session. And he said, right, everyone on the try line, Jamie, you're in the pool with one of the other fitness coaches. And so with a puzzled look on my face, I kind of asked him why. He said, oh, you waited 5 minutes late. And I had to go to the pool and swim for an hour, and I wasn't allowed to touch the bottom of the pool for an hour, and I'm a dreadful swimmer because I'm obviously quite dense and heavy, and I swim like that through the water. And from there on in, I don't think anyone weighed in late ever again. So 2011, we arrived in New Zealand, confident, we'd worked hard. So World Cup quarter-final, Islands, Wellington, amazing build-up. That night in Wellington is one of the most complete Welsh performances I've been involved in my career. We just blew them off the park. Obviously there were some great players in that Island side. As Paul O'Connell, Ronan O'Gara, Brian O'Driscoll, guy who I'd partnered in the midfield in 2009 on the British Lions tour of South Africa, and we were teammates back then, but certainly you become rivals in the Six Nations tournaments that follow. But this was another level again. This was a World Cup quarter-final, and it was great to do battle with a guy like that. A guy who I'd grown up admiring and then got the chance to play alongside as a young man. And to do battle with Brian at that level was pretty special. When you watch Sam's tip tackle in 2011, when you watch it now, it's a straight red. There's no doubt about that. But rewind 8 years, there was a bit more ambiguity around the tackle area and what constituted a red card or yellow card. And when it happened on the pitch, I just remember looking across the back line and thinking, geez, this could be a red. It's likely to be a yellow, but could be a red, and unfortunately it was. Obviously the World Cup was in New Zealand, and we were staying in hotels in and around Auckland, and you get a feel of the enormity of the World Cup. Certainly in a rugby-loving country like New Zealand, you get a feel, you get a feel for how special it is. You're walking past fans in the street of all nations, none more so than the Welsh. The Welsh were incredible. Their fans were amazing, and I just remember seeing footage online of people watching back home, and the Principality Stadium, I think it was the Millennium Stadium back then, being almost full to show that quarter final on the big screen. And then you're just thinking, geez, this is big. We're obviously in a big tournament here, but the impact we knew that it was having back home was just special, and it was a privilege. It was a huge privilege to be there for that week of the semi-final. To lose a World Cup semi-final by a point is, one of the probably biggest regret of my career, if not my life. To come that close to playing in, on the biggest stage of what I do for a living and what I love. And I'm sure all my teammates who played with me on that day in the red jersey would say the same. It's the closest I've come to the biggest achievement ever, and to fall so short is brutal. And every 4 years, I guess, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be reminded of that, and so will the other lads. I think from a player's perspective, the 2015 tournament was different to 2011. Certainly from a personal perspective, it felt like a home World Cup. I know Wales is far from England, but it's not too far. But it kind of felt like a home World Cup. But I think the highlight moment from that group game was the England match at Twickenham. It was a match that had been built up over 2 years. Certainly, as soon as the draw was made and Wales were drawn with England, I'll save the date. It was extremely special. One of the best atmospheres I could ever dream of playing, and we brought an intensity to that match. Although we were at times in the match 10-12 points behind, we never gave up, and I think we showed a resilience, especially with a lot of the injuries that had happened in the squad. We showed a resilience that I hadn't experienced in a Welsh side before. It was such a special game, to beat the hosts at home in their home World Cup. So the Springboks World Cup quarter-final, a team who won the World Cup in 2007. Obviously lost to them in the pool stages in 2011. Here we were facing them again in the quarter-final of the Rugby World Cup 2015. To lose a match of that magnitude in the last couple of minutes was one of the biggest disappointments of my career. Again, I've had some great highs at World Cups, but probably two of my biggest disappointments have been that semi-final in 2011 and that quarter-final in 2015.